Wait a minute, though. I thought it was about having a cheap quarterback, right? Isn't that what the 49ers told us? People ate that up, right? The 49ers have lied about this whole thing 100%. The 49ers have absolutely lied about the quarterback position. And all the proof is out there now. And I'm just curious to know who is willing to actually hold the 49ers accountable for this. The hubris that Shanahan and Lynch have over this whole situation is absolutely baffling to me. I've been talking about since they moved on from Jimmy Garoppolo, well, theoretically, when they moved up to number 3, that it seemed as if the 49ers never had a plan at quarterback. They went after every quarterback under the sun. They eventually landed on Lance, and the only plan that they had was to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo. This is something I said last week's show with Vish and Larry. Well, it seems that plan to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo was a bit premature. And even more so, we have other facts that have come out that show that they have no idea what the hell they want to do at the quarterback position. And they are literally flying by the seat of their pants. Remember this offseason when the 49ers said that it's all about an inexpensive quarterback? And so many people ate that up. And then they started having revisionist history saying things like, well, it's always been about a cheap quarterback. They had so many players to resign. That's why Lance is here. It's not because Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't any good or that they wanted to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo. They never said it was about a cheap quarterback then. They were willing to trade for Aaron Rodgers the day before the draft. They wanted Matthew Stafford. The original trade package to go get number 3 was likely for Deshaun Watson. It wasn't about a cheap quarterback so that they could re-sign their talented players. That was new this offseason. Once they figured Brock Purdy was going to be their quarterback, that was the spin they put on it. And even more proof has come out to show that them saying that wasn't based off of multiple years ago. That is a new theory that they have. Let me show you this clip from Ryan and then give you some more thoughts that lead into it.
Exclusive from a source I have with the 49ers. He said the 49ers knew they're going to move on from Trey Lance last year.
All right. So you've seen the clip from Ryan. And a lot of people are probably thinking, you know what? I don't believe Ryan. Ryan doesn't have sources. I do believe Ryan, first of all. Let me say this. I'm going to prove Ryan right in a second. So, but Ryan's told me quite a few things. And Ryan almost every single time has been right. And I do hear things from other sources that usually I can't put it out there. And also, I don't know for sure if they're true. I'm not the breaking news guy. That's not what I'm in this to do. But a lot of things get heard. And you hear things like the 49ers don't leak. Listen, the 49ers don't intend to leak. But players have family members that they talk to. These are human beings. Their family members talk. Their friends talk. People talk. All right. So what Ryan's saying here, by the way, is 100% true and fully backed up by Tim Kawakami. Listen to Ryan's keywords there. They were willing to move on from Trey Lance and didn't believe in him so much that they were willing to not even give him last season. So hold on a second. All this, hey, he's had a chance here. He was given last season and he got injured. Nothing the 49ers could do. No. They were out on him before last season even started. They didn't want to give him last season. They felt forced to give him last season. They were willing to keep going forward with Jimmy Garoppolo, it sounds like. And that's why they hedged their bet. But Tim Kawakami actually backs this up. Are you ready? Here's the whole thing from Kawakami laying out literally what Ryan said yesterday in a video that most people probably don't want to believe. Again, They've tactically acknowledged their failure of this trade for almost a year. In fact, when Jimmy Garoppolo stepped in for Lance and started winning games last year, first of all, started winning games, bro, he lost to the Broncos and the Falcons. Started winning games. CMC came here and he started winning games. Let's be clear about that. Started winning games last year. The 49ers front office had some internal discussions about keeping Jimmy Garoppolo as the starter into this season. Wait a minute, though. I thought it was about having a cheap quarterback, right? Isn't that what the 49ers told us? People ate that up, right? The 49ers have lied about this whole thing 100%. I don't know if Garoppolo would have accepted that, but that idea was out there. The 49ers were looking for somebody to start in 2023, not named Lance. It gets better. Then Garoppolo got hurt. Purdy got a shot, and now we're here with the 49ers updated depth chart. Now, here is the blow, the knockout shot right here. They basically put Lance on the trade market publicly via the NFL Network. But Lance has actually been available since last February, and there has been little interest. I'm going to say that again. He has been on the market since last February. Tim Kawakami's been around a long time. That's not a mistake. That is intentional. Last February does not refer to February 2023. They were willing to move on after some practices in one season where he played 2 games and won one of them. The 49ers never had a plan for Trey Lance. Trey Lance never was going to be given a shot. The fact that they brought in Sam Darnold, and I talked about this yesterday on my show, saying it was clear that Sam Darnold being here was always either going to be quarterback 1 if Purdy was hurt or quarterback 2. And Trey Lance, there was nothing he was going to do to override that. He never had a chance. Sam Darnold didn't beat out Trey Lance for quarterback 2. That is not what's happened here. Trey Lance never had a chance at quarterback 2. He never had a chance at quarterback 1. They've lied about the whole situation and are so arrogant that they spent that much capital on Trey Lance and were willing, if a team had given them what they thought he was worth, were going to trade him last February after he's been on the team for 1 year. That's what they were willing to do. Now, let's also remember that a lot of these beat reporters, Kawakami included, are here to carry water for the 49ers organization. And so when they use words like there has been little interest, that is to paint the 49ers in a good light. Meaning they would trade him if somebody would just offer us something. That's what you think. When you hear little interest, you automatically go to, oh, well, nobody wants Trey Lance. I mean, what else are they supposed to do? Now they just got to make him the 3rd string quarterback, and Trey Lance has to take it. I mean, what are his other options? Reality is, people will give something up for Trey Lance. If he's been on the market since last February, people will offer something. The 49ers overvalue their players. You think last February, before he played any games in 2022, they were just going to give him away for a 7th round pick or a 4th round pick? Hell no. They just spent 3 first rounders on him. They were willing to move on immediately before he even was given an actual season to prove himself. They're not going to give him away for nothing. It's not that they don't have offers. They have offers they're not willing to take. They have offers they don't think are serious. Just like they had offers for Jimmy Garoppolo and they spun it like nobody was interested in him. But reality was they wanted way too much for Jimmy Garoppolo. Nobody was ever going to pay for that. They want way too much for Trey Lance. They always have, and nobody's ever going to pay for it. They are delusional about this whole situation. They're delusional in how they've handled it. They're delusional when they try to trade one of their quarterbacks. They don't know what they're doing. That is very, very clear to me. Last February, they were willing to move on. And they were going to continue with Jimmy Garoppolo. If Jimmy Garoppolo had never gotten hurt, they were going to offer him to come back. It was never about a cheap quarterback. Trey Lance never had a shot with this team. And they've never had a plan. That's really what it comes down to. And one last thing, don't get attached to any of these quarterbacks. The 49ers aren't attached. Remember the way that they talked about Jimmy Garoppolo? We don't know if we'll be alive on Sunday. That's because they thought they had another option. And then they didn't like that option. So they liked Jimmy Garoppolo again, so much so that they were willing to bring him back this year if he'd be willing to come back. But that was until he got hurt. And then they liked Brock Purdy. And so at the end of year press conference, they talked about Jimmy Garoppolo like he was chopped liver. And now they've sold you that Brock Purdy is the franchise quarterback. He's the future. Well, that's until they don't like him anymore either. Because they've already laid the ground for Sam Darnold, who they've called the next Steve Young. They're constantly getting the next thing in line just in case it doesn't work out. And if Sam Darnold doesn't work out, they'll go get Kirk Cousins or whoever the hell their heart desires at that time. They've treated the most important position in football like it doesn't matter. These players don't matter to them. The quarterback position doesn't matter to them. We'll see if that works out. The quarterback position is the most important position in football. There's a reason that 43 of 57 Super Bowls have been won by Hall of Fame caliber quarterbacks. But that doesn't matter because Kyle Shanahan's so good, right? We'll see. We're about to find out. We're about to find all the way out.